Welcome to LG Hockey Hotline 2 weeks later from our last show. So we missed 2 rounds of the playoffs here, but we do have our Season 4 Stanley Cup champion New Jersey Devils. And I am broadcasting from a new location in St. Louis, Missouri. Terrible, terrible drive. But I'm here as always with Moran Aconda. What's going on, man?
Not much. Season 4 is in the books. We have a champion crowned, and the wheels are already in motion, and the train is well down the tracks to Season 5 here. It's kind of a quick turnaround this time, but, this is to be expected from here on out, according to the higher-ups. So, we better get used to these quick turnarounds. But, Season 4 in the books. New Jersey Devils end up taking the cup, which was a surprise to here I'll give you the number roughly, which comes as a surprise to probably, I would say, 70% of the league, if I am correct. It could be a little less than that. Community voting is not showing anymore. Oh, there it is. To the surprise of 60% of the league. So, hats off to them, man. That's a great job by New Jersey. It's the definition of a team that got hot at the right time. They came out of the gates in the playoffs, and they took their first series 4-3, which proved to be their toughest series of the playoffs against the Philadelphia Flyers in round 1, and then they walked through Washington 4-1 in the quarterfinals, and took down Buffalo 4-2 in the semifinals, and then takes down a red hot Calgary Flames team 4-2 in the Stanley Cup final. So, congrats to New Jersey, man. Great job over there, guys.
Yeah, for sure. And we do have the Season 4 award show mixed into this show tonight. I want to thank Leafy and her gang over there that got together and got the awards done and sent them in. We do have the winners. We know who they are, and we are not giving them away yet. So hang out, and we'll get to them probably pretty quickly. But I did want to talk about the Flames and Devils series just a little bit. Calgary jumps out to a 2-0 lead in that series and is looking pretty good. Game 2 was a tough game, but they pulled out the win. And I think Calgary felt like they were in a really good position. And then New Jersey comes back and wins 4 straight to end the series in pretty quick fashion from games 3 through 6. It was an interesting series. I didn't get to watch games 1 or 2. I watched games 3 and 4 and 6. I missed game 5 because I was in the middle of something, but really good games, all of them, the ones that I saw. But New Jersey they kept the pressure up and looked like it was theirs to lose. They just all of a sudden turned around and after those first 2 losses didn't look back.
No, yeah, it was, everyone thought that, coming out of the gates, Calgary taking those first games, it was like, oh, well, here we go. But, hats off to New Jersey. They ripped off 4 wins in a row after that, really put the pressure on Calgary, and, Calgary just, couldn't stand the test there, as New Jersey really came at them hard in games 3, 4, 5, and 6. And took home the hardware, and it's unfortunate for Calgary, to see them fall out like they did, have to use ECUs in the Stanley Cup Finals. You never want to see that, but they got beat fair and square by New Jersey. New Jersey was the better team. They came out, they got the job done, and they took home the hardware.
Yeah, and as far as teams using ECUs in the playoffs go, Calgary's AHL team won the Calder Cup. Really couldn't get much better ECUs than they got down there. That whole organization did extremely well, top to bottom this season, and almost won the cup in both leagues. So, hats off to Big J over there, getting it done. I know he's probably a bit disappointed that they didn't win the cup. How could you not be? But going from the worst place team in the league in season 3, taking over as a new owner, taking a franchise that The
Had
number
no draft picks too.
Right, the number one overall draft pick would have been theirs, but it was traded before season three ended. He comes in, that number one overall pick is skills pay bills, and you can imagine how big of a difference maker he could have been for Calgary on that roster. They have no draft picks and then take it all the way, win the West, and go into the cup final and take it to 6 games. So hats off to Big J over there. But then you also got to talk about New Jersey, who had ownership change about midway point of the season, and Odie takes over that team, makes a couple of deals there, and brings in some players, gets the team set, and then goes on a run and they win the cup. Um, I don't think people were predicting New Jersey versus Calgary in the finals. Either one of those teams could have been picked to be there, but I don't think that was a matchup people thought was going to happen, and it didn't disappoint to me. I thought it was a really good series.
No, it was a really good series. Like I said, New Jersey just they came out and they got it done. They did what a lot of people didn't think that they could do. They did a hell of a job. My hat's off to them. They came in as the number 2 seed in the East, number 3 maybe. But Odie and Tendy, I mean, just they did an excellent job. Their guys were all together down the stretch after that ownership change. Their goaltender, Rhino, did an outstanding job in the playoffs. Official Mark, I mean, what more can you say about him and Odie? They just did a hell of a job. They were both, I believe, if I'm reading this right, 8-0-1 throughout the playoffs. So, I mean, that right there, tells you what a job that those guys did.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe JD Hegel went undefeated through the entire playoffs. I have to go look that back up, but he didn't lose.
9-0.
Yeah, didn't lose a single game.
As was
That's
Labrat. Labrat was 9-0.
Yep.
Rhino was 13-0-1.
Yeah,
I mean,
Rhino in net for them. That was probably the biggest pickup that they got in bidding, with goalies like Kearns who were out there, Schneider. New Jersey goes, of course, Jay Claus was the owner at the time. Him and Odie decide to go get Rhino, and I don't know if they planned on him being the starter or not. They definitely planned on him being a big role in net, but he ends up being their starter through the playoffs and loses one game. You know, Unbelievable job. Everything about that team seemed to click, especially when it came down to the most important time of season, these 4 rounds in the playoffs. And they didn't have it easy. I mean, their pathway was through the Philadelphia Flyers, the Washington Capitals, the Buffalo Sabres, and then the Calgary Flames. I mean, they had, especially coming out of the East, they had probably the most difficult path you could have coming out of the Eastern Conference, because it's not stacked from top to bottom like the Western Conference was this season. And the team that came through the Eastern Conference on probably the most difficult schedule through there ends up coming through and winning the entire thing. So outstanding job by Odie and JD Hegel, Official Mark, Flapjack, who will get on here in just a little while to talk to him. That entire team, Rhino and net, it was a great job by the New Jersey Devils, and congrats on winning the cup. That's huge. I didn't know what to expect, but I can tell you, I probably didn't expect New Jersey to win the cup. That wasn't my pick. It doesn't shock me, but I mean, wow, hats off to you. Great job. So let's I guess
let's just take a second here to point out these minor upgrades that the site has had done to it. For example, real quick here, I'm sharing the New Jersey Devils season 4 roster and team page right now, and that looks pretty slick, if you ask me, comparatively speaking to what we used to have. This is pretty cool. Hats off to New Jersey once again. It goes and it puts the owner, the GM, and the AGM right up at the top, and then continues on down the line with all the players. This looks pretty damn cool. I really like what Triz has done with the site. Just one last time here, giving the players on New Jersey their props. All these guys right here that you're seeing on this list, hats off to you boys. The season 4's cup is yours, and nobody can ever take that from you. And know that there's 5,000 players out there that are jealous. So great job, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's move over to some of these awards and talk about some of the ones that were posted on the site. It was a few days ago, I guess. But I guess officially congratulate our Art Ross Trophy winner. We'll talk about those. So we had, of course, the Prince of Wales Trophy was awarded to the New Jersey Devils, who won the Eastern Conference, and the Clarence S. Campbell Bowl to the Calgary Flames, who won the West. And then the President's Trophy goes to the Dallas Stars. 3 outstanding teams, and we know who won the Stanley Cup, New Jersey Devils. So, it's kind of interesting when you see those stacked up next to each other. It's kind of amazing how many good teams were in the playoffs and played against each other, especially in early rounds. This division style playoff format keeps the best teams from facing off in the conference championship in a lot of cases, and you have teams like St. Louis and Chicago that face each other in round 1 of the playoffs. It's interesting, and I'm not sure I like that. I know that's how they really do it. I think it could definitely be done a better way, because you'll get rivalries, just getting rivalries, teams playing against each other. You don't have to create them artificially by forcing them to match up early. But congratulations to those teams there. Our Art Ross Trophy winner, of course, was GB 521 of the Washington Capitals. And, he ended up with 109 points. He was only 2 points away from tying the single season record in points this season. And, he's an Xbox guy that is widely considered one of the best players across both leagues.
Oh yeah, he's definitely, a stud when it comes to, putting points on the boards. He's done it in both leagues, both Xbox and PlayStation. Finishing the season with 55 goals, 54 assists. So he's not just a sniper, and he's not just a playmaker. He does it all. He passes the puck. He produces points. He gets his teammates points. And he did a great job this season. He had 24 PIMs, which is only 12 penalties. That's a great job. Was 55.5% in the dot. Had 97 takeaways. He's just got a well-rounded game. He's an outstanding player, and it's no wonder that he won the Art Ross.
He did also lead the league in giveaways by an extremely wide margin, but he also scored more points than anybody.
Yeah, so. That's going to happen when you have the puck on your stick that much. It's a given. If you have the puck on your stick all the time and you're distributing, you're scoring goals, you're putting points on the board, you're going to have turnovers. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, it is. And then go ahead with the next 2 awards there that were already posted.
Well, the next one that we have in line is one that's named after a famous Montreal Canadiens, sniper in the form of the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy. And this trophy goes to Mr. Clarkskog from the Washington Capitals, who just had an outstanding season this season, putting points on the board, scoring goals. He was always in the right spot, it seemed, this season to put away some goals and really help his team get to the semifinals, or make that the division finals, and put up 60 goals on the season, which was 3 better than the next closest guy, who happened to be B Bunny. And GB right there in third place with 55 goals. But Clark booked up 80 goals on the season, 22 assists.
60.
That's what I was talking about, or 60 goals, 22 assists. That's exactly what I was talking about there. When you look at that, you see it and you're like, okay, he's a goal scorer. He's a sniper, which is why the Maurice Rocket Richard Trophy goes to the highest goal scoring person in the league, and that was Clark's Cog this year. The William N. Jennings Trophy goes to what is that? The goaltenders with the.
It's the team that gave up the fewest amount of goals
right.
in the league. It goes to the goaltenders that played
the
most games for that team
that gave up the least amount of goals in the league. And obviously, we talked about it, time in and time out on the show every week. It seemed about that we were talking about the Chicago Blackhawks and how little of goals against they had throughout the season. It was really quite amazing. And the William N. Jennings Trophy goes to both Kearns and Penguins 2013 as they backstopped that Chicago Blackhawks team to one hell of a defensive season this season.
Yeah, for sure. So I think the way that we should do this, looking at how these awards are laid out, I think that we should probably start with Lady Bing, then go to actually we should start with the Conn Smythe, then go to Lady Bing, then go to Selke, Calder Memorial, Norris, Hart, and Jack Adams. Sound all right for you?
Yeah, sure. I should have wrote that down when you were saying it.
Okay, so
I should have went over that first, but hey.
Yeah, I've been busy and out of sorts, so I apologize. So we're going to start with the Conn Smythe Trophy. Now, Conn Smythe Trophy is not chosen by the award panel. It is actually chosen by the owner of the owner/management group, I should say, of the cup winning team, or it is up to them to decide. I don't know if they allowed. I don't know if Odie allowed the team to vote on who the Conn Smythe Trophy was, or if they just chose it as owner GM. But the Conn Smythe Trophy winner for season 4 was Nutty Outlaw 13, which was a guy chosen by, like I said, what it says here, New Jersey management. So congratulations to Nutty Outlaw 13 on winning the Conn Smythe Trophy. I don't. So, sorry about the dog. I don't know. I have to look to see exactly what he did.
Talking about Nutty Outlaw?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Is that right?
Yes. You should have seen him talking about it in the shout box a few days ago. I don't know. I can't pull it up on my phone, so my computer's not here yet, so I can't look it up. What did he do? Did he win? He win a big game?
He must have won literally a big game because he was 1-6 in the playoffs with 3 goals, 1 assist, and a -28. So that's got to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. A joke, I guess.
I didn't want to go there, but yeah, I thought it was funny. So, okay. So what we're going to do here next is we're going to go to the Lady Bing Memorial Trophy. And then after that, we will go to the Selke and then the Calder Memorial. So Lady Bing, Selke, Calder Memorial. So the Lady Bing Memorial Trophy is basically given to the nicest player in the league. No penalties, very few hits, that sort of thing. So this year's Lady Bing Memorial Trophy goes to the blind ref. Ref had 8 PIMs all season, had a very low hit total for a person putting up as many points as he did. He isn't on the site acting like an asshat and doesn't engage in the shout box with the little stuff. A quote here from Frost: we should reward him with this award to show the guys who aren't very vocal in the league that they provide a meaningful impact to their team and aren't stupid. They can be recognized. So congratulations to the blind ref on winning the Lady Bing.
Yeah, and what the Lady Bing Trophy is, I mean, it goes to the best the guy who exhibits the best sportsmanship throughout the season. His penalty minutes are low, which means he plays a clean game. And like you said, he's not out in the penalty or out in the shout box, ripping people or doing whatever, doing this or doing that. He keeps to himself. He shows up. He does his job. He's a great sportsman, and he not only with all of that, he's an outstanding performer and puts up points on the board as well. So, that's what the Lady Bing is all about. It's about sportsmanship and also a high skill and a high ability to play the game as well.
Yep. And congratulations to Nutty Outlaw for the Conn Smythe. All right. So going to the Selkie. This is, of course, the award for the best defensive forward in the league. This was things taken into account here would be face-off percentage, goals against average for the player on the ice. So obviously you want fewest goals given up when you're on the ice. That factored into it. The power play and penalty kill efficiency.
Personal penalty play or personal power penalty kill efficiency. Goddamn. Personal penalty kill efficiency.
Yep. So this year's Selkie Trophy winner is C.C. Piper, the interim and now permanent owner of the Chicago Blackhawks. Piper won the Selkie with a unanimous vote. His top goals against average and PPKE and his near top face-off percentage while playing the hardest schedule of all nominees and potential nominees made choosing him an easy decision. And I would have to say that after watching this guy play on so many different occasions this season, hands down, best defensive center in the league. I don't think there's any question about that. The guy, for being as good as he is, they don't always score that many goals, but he was a huge reason. Him and Kearns, those two together, the way that they prevent goals from going in, it's a big reason why Chicago gave up the fewest amount of goals in the entire league this season. So congratulations to Piper for winning the Selkie Award this season. And all right, so
Header abounds. Once again, just so everybody knows, we didn't have anything to do with this. Like, get that out there. Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah. Yes, I already said who did the awards. There's Leafy said contact her if you have a problem. But honestly, guys, I mean, they put weeks of work into this, and I don't see any that I disagree with on this list. So let's go to the Calder Memorial Trophy, which is traditionally given out to the best rookie in the league. They announced should we have been reading the nominees list? I mean, I didn't even pull that up this time, but they announced the nominees the other night for this award and or for all the awards. But Calder Memorial Trophy, why don't you take this one away?
Well, the Calder Memorial, as you said, obviously goes to the most outstanding rookie in the league for the season. And this season, there were several good rookies. I ain't even going to lie. There were some guys who came in and they caught a lot of people off guard. But, I mean, hands down, for me and obviously for all the people who are on the awards committee, as we have a dog barking in the background, but obviously for all the people who are on the awards committee, the unanimous selection for the Calder Memorial Trophy is we're going to go ahead and give you one of these. Penguins hockey from the St. Louis Blues, who came in and took the league by storm this year. Just came in and basically tore it up. Had great game after great game after great game. He was always at the top of the list when we were doing our stars of the year. He finished the season in second place in the regular season for points with 103. Just came in and did his job for the St. Louis Blues. Went 21-4-3 on the season with 36 goals, 67 assists, plus 44. 31.3% shot percentage, took only 28 PIMs, 28 penalty minutes. Was 51.9 in the dot, but just came in and did a hell of a job as a rookie coming in. I mean,
And
first time playing on the
literally,
PlayStation side.
and literally came out of nowhere. Not too many people knew who he was, and because of that, a lot of people he dealt with all season, people saying he was a second tag because he was having such a good season, and not that many people had heard of him. So congratulations to Penguins hockey, had an outstanding rookie season, and the what it says here basically is he had a phenomenal season and was one vote away from the Hart Trophy. So choosing him for the Calder was a no-brainer. It's a hell of a job, especially in your first season in the NHL on this side, to come in and make that kind of impact. So the next set of awards that we should go with here, we should go with the let's go with the James Norris Memorial Trophy, then the Jack Adams, then the Vezina, and then the Hart. You want to do that?
Yeah, that works.
All right. Let's. I'm gonna not punch my dog.
Yeah. Going to the Norris Trophy, obviously, that goes to the most outstanding defenseman in the league. A guy who not only puts up points, which is a small piece of the Norris Trophy, but the Norris traditionally goes to somebody who is just dominant in their own end. A guy who basically just goes out and wins games single-handedly, with his D partner for his team. And, we have, as a direct quote for this trophy, we have another very close race. All four nominees excelled in every aspect. But this guy who won this trophy ended up with the edge, as he was decided to be the best and most well-rounded nominee while playing one of the most difficult schedules we've seen. Jacques and Stevie were also at a minor disadvantage for not having played full seasons. So it obviously doesn't go to either one of them. And the James Norris for season 4 goes to this guy who I think it's well-deserved. He had a great season and shut everybody down when he played against him. And
V-High. Woo!
Odie from the New Jersey Devils, completely just dominated in his own end this year. Goes out. Not only does he lead his team to a Stanley Cup victory, but he takes home the Norris Trophy as well. That's a great job by Odie.
Yeah, it is. When I saw the nominees listed for the Norris Trophy on there, I looked at it and I was like laughing, thinking, good luck picking the winner, and get ready for all the hate for all the 3 people who don't win it, because they all deserved it. You can only go to one person. I don't think there was out of the nominees that were listed, I don't think there was a bad choice there. Odie wins it, and obviously this is all based on regular season. Postseason has zero effect on regular season awards. It has zero effect on regular season awards. But if you were to include the postseason, Odie leading his team as owner to a Stanley Cup also, to me, verifies this pick. So congratulations to Odie on winning the Norris Trophy.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. I mean, he's another one who constantly, week in and week out, was always in our top spots for the defensive stars of the week. Him and his D partner, Official Mark. So, hats off to those guys on having just a dominant defensive performance on the season. And like they said, I mean, like, good luck picking that one, because you had young Jack that came back to the PlayStation this season, who is obviously a dominant defenseman in this league. But they definitely did their due diligence. They went and they looked strength of schedule, everything on this one, as they did for all of these awards this season. They really got thorough with it. So that's a great job by Odie, and he deserves every bit of it.
Yep. So let's move on now to the Jack Adams Award, which is awarded to the owner Yeah, it's officially awarded to the owner, though. I think it should be awarded to the management group of the what is judged to be the most improved team, team to have done best, starting with the least type of thing. Um, there's a couple different ways you can look at this, but one of the things that the awards committee did this season was looked fully at the entire organization and looked not only at the NHL team, but how the AHL team did, who they had in management down there, how everything played out through the regular season. And, I think if you look at it at that level, that there's only one choice here for me for number one. There's definitely a few people that should be nominated, but I think they got it right here with who they chose. So, winning your season 4 Jack Adams Award is Big J Aoki of the Calgary Flames, who, like we said, it's all based on regular season. However, both teams, the AHL team did win the Calder Memorial Trophy, and the Calgary Flames went from literally the worst team in the league to winning the West and being a Stanley Cup finalist in the NHL. In the regular season, they went from worst in the league to almost winning their division, and had they probably would have won the division had they not decided to tank and try and play Arizona in the first round, but they did. So they finished second in the division in the West, which was a completely stacked conference, very difficult to do with no draft picks. And like we said, the Stockton Heat, incredible season as well, with many players on that team that had more than above average seasons. So congratulations to Big J on um, winning the Jack Adams Award. It says Jay's teams had success at both the NHL and AHL level. He did not own Calgary last season and built an impressive team despite having almost nothing on his roster to begin with.
And that's the biggest point for me. And I think they absolutely got this one right, even though there were some that could have been very close for me, such as New Jersey's ownership as well, taking over halfway through the season. But, I think they got this one right. I think that Jay came in with the help of his GM, Frost, and their AGM over there in Calgary. I think they did a hell of a job. I mean, when you really break it down to the nuts and bolts of the thing, they started off with no draft picks. They had nobody under contract. Maybe they had one or two guys, but they were basically AHL level talent. They came in and they took this team, and Stockton was. I don't think they were very good. I wouldn't say they were awful last season, but they weren't very good down in the AHL. And they came in and they put
They were a bubble team
in place, in both spots, and really built this organization into a respectable, great organization from the ground up. And when you look at the Jack Adams, it's a lot of people think, oh, well, it has to be the team that wins the cup, and it's actually, what I mean, when you really look at it, the last 25 years in the real world NHL, there has not been one Jack Adams Award winner that won the Stanley Cup the season he won the Jack Adams. It goes to a team that was in dire straits the season before. This is basically almost every time you look at it, a team that was in dire straits the season before, somebody came in and that team made the playoffs the next season, is usually who it goes to.
playoffs.
Your Patrick Waz of the world, your who was it that won it for Calgary that season there? I can't remember. But Calgary in the real world had been crap, and then they get a new coach. He comes in, he changes things, they get them to the playoffs, and boom, Jack Adams. So that's how that's awarded. I think that's a great job by the league. There was only one choice, if you ask me, as Calgary was so bare boned at the beginning of the season. It was really ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. Well, without any further ado, we have 2 awards left to hand out. We have the Vezina Trophy and the Hart Memorial Trophy. Vezina Trophy obviously goes to the GOAT goaltender of the league this season, and the Hart Memorial goes to the league MVP, the guy judged to be the most valuable player to his or her organization.
His or her.
Come on, man. All right, well, let's get on to the Vezina Trophy, because this is one that has been talked about a bunch over the last several weeks, and I don't think that when this award's talked about, there's one guy that gets talked about all the time for what he did this season, but there's several goalies who had incredible seasons. But for me, there was really only one choice for the Vezina here, and congratulations goes to
It goes for a little while, so
goes to, of course, Kearns of the Chicago Blackhawks. Sets a league record this season with 11 shutouts in the regular season. It took him I think 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks to get that 11th shutout. But honestly, he's on like a 46 game shutout streak. So how could you not give the guy a Vezina trophy for this season? Outstanding job, lowest goals against uh, for him. Top three in save percentage. He had the most shutouts, hardest strength to schedule of all the nominees, while still maintaining an impressive record. Um, he won it with 4 of the 5 votes. And for me, honestly, there was no other choice this season. There was only ever one name every single week. They continued to play the toughest schedule. And yes, he had the Selke winner that was playing with him 3 games a week, but if you watched any games that Kearns played in, there were games that top Chicago line was struggling a bit, and he bailed them out plenty of times, especially through the playoffs. Chicago struggled against the Calgary Flames, and Kearns almost single-handedly stole that series for him. They ended up falling in that series, but Kearns' incredible job this season in that, outstanding.
yeah, definitely. If I was picking, he would have been my vote this year. I mean, the guy played outstanding, and a lot of people look at it and be like, "Well, it's because of the defense in front of him," and it's like, yeah, but also that defense is good because of their goaltender. It's a partnership. They all work together. Yeah, he had the Selke winner on his team. Yeah, he had a Norris Trophy candidate on his team, but they all work together to be the best defensive team in the league. And Kearns is the cornerstone in the middle of all of that work. He came in and just shut it down this year, led the league in shutouts, led the league in goals against average. I mean, he had an outstanding season, and that's a great pick if you ask me. I think he deserves every last bit of that Vezina trophy. He did a really good job for them this season, and he was by far one of the toughest goalies to play against. Always making the shots, making the saves, reading the plays well. He reads and diagnoses plays extremely well, better than almost any goaltender I've ever seen. His anticipation is great. He's just a very solid goaltender, and that's a well-deserved Vezina for him.
Yeah, it is. I have zero complaints with that. I would have been shocked if it went to anybody else. No offense, obviously, to Double Zero.
Who guarantee you was one of the nominees.
Right, guys like him, Cons. I mean Schneider. They get. I mean, there was Pat Dean for Calgary was incredible this season. Um, there's so many names, but honestly, when you whittle it all down, there was only ever one name that stood out from all the others when it came to the Vezina Trophy for me. So, congrats to Kearns, and I wouldn't be surprised. He's on a 2-year deal back in Chicago. I wouldn't be surprised to see him attempting to break his shutout record next season for that team. They're going to be really good again, of course, with Piper keeping ownership there, and keeping that core intact over there. Except they did lose Class Act, who not only left to be a GM for another team, but left to be a GM for another team in that division. So. So that'll be interesting to see how that affects that division and what happens there, because Class has been a big part of Chicago ever since he got there. I believe in season 2, might have been late in season 1. I think it was season 2 though. But either way, that Chicago team will continue to be good as they have been every single season so far. So let's move on to this year's Hart Memorial Trophy. This, of course, goes out to the league MVP. And I think that this is one that probably has the most statistical categories to be looked at to determine um, who would win this award. It doesn't always go to the guy that scored the highest point total. It doesn't always go to the person who scored the most goals. Definitely can, and those people are usually in the conversation. Um, but there's so many other factors. Obviously, who you play against, what your record was, especially what your record was for your team compared to your team's record. So, I don't know how much who they played with is looked at, but I don't
Oh,
really think that matters that much.
yeah, I mean they look at it all for the Hart, just like they did for every other one. They they look at strength of schedule, who you're playing with, all of that. They take it all into consideration and put all the pieces where they need to. They were extremely thorough this year, from what I've heard, and this one, is a tight one. And there's a direct quote right here from the awards committee. It says, we had 5 people voting for each award, but I actually had to ask 2 other people who have helped me with the awards in the past and who didn't play in this league, so there was no personal or ties or preferences, to give me their opinions as well. The final vote was 4-3 with this specific award.
Yeah. And the race came down to 2 guys. And honestly, I think if you look at both of these teams and the 2 guys that are here, that you could have made a very good argument for either one. One of them, of course, was Penguins hockey, who had an incredible rookie season, won the Calder Memorial Trophy, finishing second in the Hart, missing out by 1 vote, 4-3, obviously is why it was a no-brainer for the Calder Memorial Trophy. And the guy that he went up against was crickets.
Oh wait, yeah.
And the guy he went up against, of course, was GB 521 of the Washington Capitals. Congratulations to GB coming over and helping carry that Washington Capitals team from, pretty much a disastrous season last season. They get a roster swap this season, so they end up with basically what Edmonton was last season became Washington. Got a new owner in Braden over there who built a fantastic team, brought in GB from the Xbox side. He leads the league in points. And congratulations to GB winning the Hart Memorial Trophy for Season 4 of the PlayStation side LGHL.
Yeah, and I mean that's got to be, and a lot of people will question it, just like they did last year. Well, how could this person win the Rookie of the Year but not even be, and whereas Penguins wins the Calder, but then finishes second in the Hart Memorial. I mean, but that's just how good of a season these 2 guys had. Penguins took home some hardware with the Calder. This is GB's second trophy that he's taken home with him after this season, as he did win the Art Ross as well, and takes home the Hart Memorial Trophy. And once again, I mean, just 55 goals, 54 assists. He's taking care of his teammates and himself. That's an outstanding job. Whereas Penguins hockey obviously favors setting his teammates up a little bit, as he had 36 goals and 67 assists. So 2 totally different styles of play, just from the first glance. Both of these guys are well deserving of this trophy. But in the end, it did come down to GB taking it home, who had just 4 less penalty minutes, 11 more hits, and was about a 3.6% better in the face-off. That, if I got my math right there, I could be wrong, but I think it's 3.6% better in the face-off dot, and had 27 more takeaways as a center as well. So I mean, I'm sure. I would think that those minor details are the things that just gave him the edge over Penguins, and some of the other outstanding players that we had in the season this year, or in the league this year.
Yeah, and honestly, when they did the update for this, is something I wanted to make a comment that kind of leads towards the Art Ross Trophy conversation and the Vezina and the Hart. Since GB was the league leader in points, Penguins was second in points, and those were the two finalists for the Hart. Um, After they did that goalie update on NHL 17 before this season started, um, I thought for sure that the single season point record was in jeopardy, and I thought it would be in jeopardy by, um, probably a 15 to 20 point margin. And basically, what happened is that guys are really good at scoring, continued to score, but also goalies that are very good at this game adapted to that play style. And those goalies like Kearns in particular, after that update that I thought was disastrous for some goalies, sets a league record for single season shutouts with 11, wins the Vezina Trophy. Um, I think basically what you find out is no matter what happens in this game, the great players adapt and continue to be great players, whether it's on the um, offensive or defensive side, depending on which update you're talking about and how the game was affected. So I just wanted to point that out and say congratulations to those of you who adapted the best, obviously, and continued to play stellar hockey.
Yeah, for sure. And just, as kind of a little bit of a, as I'm just glancing at the season 4 stats here, I do want to just say, congrats to guys like, B Bunny, who had an outstanding season, Terry Toronto for Calgary, who had a great season, Sudsy for Detroit, LMAO, BBK for Dallas,
Another
Kraz
rookie,
18 from our boys here, the one and only had a
BBK.
great season.
BBK was another rookie drafted this season.
Yep. Gally Chucky had a good season as far as points go. Easton's had an outstanding season for Dallas. Ja Gerard for the Arizona Coyotes had a great season. King Clutch, Flying Red, who's another rookie for Arizona. Clark's Cog, LOL, Reddy, Gui 20 for Calgary. Triggered Kev or Kev Bone for Carolina, Bone Crusher for Dallas, Snipe Shot, Nuge, Bill, Scary Joey, DeBard, and Dino Mike all had great seasons as far as points go this season as well. Great job, guys.
Yep. And I mentioned 00 was in the Vezina as a nominee. He was also a drafted rookie this season. He got drafted by Carolina, got traded to Colorado, and helped carry Colorado into the playoffs by playing incredible in that for the Colorado Avalanche. But I mean, when you look at all these awards, Big J winning the Jack Adams, I think that's 100% dead on. Congratulations to Chief winning the President's Trophy. I know you were told that you were being moved to the West to not be a great owner or whatever you said you were told, whatever, and then you went. I mean, you won your division last year. The difference there to me is that you were already a playoff division winning owner, and a different guy comes in, takes over the worst team in the league, and gets his team to the point that he did. I think Chief definitely should have been nominated and was probably number 2. But traditionally, it goes to a guy like Big J, who not only took over that NHL team in Calgary, but got Loops to be the GM for that AHL team, and that AHL team thrived as well. So
yeah, I'm sure Odie was on the list as well.
Yes. Calder Memorial Penguins hockey coming in, getting drafted by the Blues, and he was actually in the league lead for points during that final week. He had played his last game before GB did, and GB GB definitely in his last game put up the points he needed to get back in first place there. But that was a tight race. I think all these awards, Piper winning the Selke, Kearns winning the Vezina, Odie winning the Norris. I look at this list and I'm not disappointed with any of the names that are on it. And I also do want to throw out there was a media award given out. I don't really need to say that it was you and I that were on there, but I wanted to congratulate T-Sibs88 because as far as media goes, we do the show here for the NHL and stuff, but without Sibs, we never even would have got off the ground. Sibs has been our go-to anytime we need anything, and he's always there without question to answer any questions that we have. So if anybody deserves that media award, T-Sibs88 definitely deserves it. So congratulations, T-Sibs, on getting a media award this season.
Yeah, for sure. Well deserved for Sibsy.
So, all right, well, we're going to try and get Flapjack on here. Go ahead and send him his invite. Let's get Flap on and talk to him. He's from your cup-winning New Jersey Devils, and he ought to have some interesting stuff to say. I think that basically I love this show at the end of the season. We get to talk about the awards here, get to talk about who won the cup, and then we get a break. These seasons are a grind. But
we don't get a break though. It's right back at it. We got
right,
the draft show coming up this week.
Well, I get a break, so
yeah, that's true.
But let's go ahead and welcome in Flapjack here from your Season 4 Cup champion New Jersey Devils. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Well,
first and foremost, congratulations on winning the cup.
Fucking right, man. Great job, dude.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys stepped up. I mean, it was a long season, somewhat eventful. You know, Claus getting banned, and guys stepped up.
Yeah, I think that it's really interesting when you look at it to see that the team that wins the cup is a team that lost their owner mid-season. Of course, your GM Odie is, the best defenseman in the league as per the Norris Trophy he just won. Takes over that team, your team, and helps you guys go win a cup. But the entire team played well. You had guys like, we didn't even mention Tendy yet. I believe you played a fair amount with Tendy, especially in the playoffs. Did you not?
Yeah, I played every single game. I mean, both, I guess, line A and line B, I mean, went undefeated except for one game. In the one game, I guess me, DTA, and Tendy and Odie lost was in overtime. And that was the Philly series. That was the only series that went more than 6. So,
yeah, I mean, just the depth that you guys had, especially your top 2 lines, and of course, official Mark Odie on defense. Rhino in net was probably the most standout guy on the team for all the outstanding talent you guys had. Rhino in the playoffs was incredible.
Yeah, Rhino was huge. Besides, I guess he had a lag out in Game 6, and Goose came in, and Calgary was gonna forfeit. We were scrapping on time, and Goose came in huge, and he sued for us because we also had another game where Rhino and Brett, our backup goalie, couldn't make it, and we had a ECU goalie scheduled to come, and he no-showed, so we had to scrap and find a forward in the AHL, and Broski stepped up huge. So we had a couple close calls with guys stepping up. The whole playoffs was guys stepping up big. Labrat turned it on in the playoffs. I mean, the whole first line really turned it on. I mean, a bunch of guys going undefeated. I mean, guys stepping up in the new roles with, Claus getting banned. I mean, guys getting traded, Tendy coming over. I mean, yeah.
Isn't that what it's all about, though? Is, the team getting hot at the right time and guys stepping up when they needed to in big spots. And that's what really carried you guys to the cup, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's kind of just funny. It was a long season. I mean, guys coming over, and it just, the way we had a strategy going into the playoffs with our lines, and, we didn't really balance our lines. We had like 1 and 2 lines, and guys kind of accepted that role on the third line, and guys stepped up, and they won a big game for us in the Washington series. How we won that series in 5. And, going into it worked because I don't think other teams really matched up well against us, and allowing us, it also helps when your top 2 lines go undefeated. But
right.
it works well because I mean the only series that went 7. I think Philly did the best job forcing it to 7 and matched up well. But other teams putting their first line to our third, it kind of helped us negate when we didn't have home ice versus when we did. So Odie, hats off to him. He has the experience. I just sat and watched all season and gave some opinions here and there. Odie's the wizard on and off the ice. Same with Mark. I have to mention him so he doesn't yell at me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, plus you got a guy like JD who gets drafted, I think, 5th overall to Boston this season. One of the last things that Claus did before all that stuff happened was make a trade to bring him in. And he comes in and just plays dominant hockey with the Devils, and then that leads to him going 9-0 in the playoffs, going to the Stanley Cup. When you have guys like that who step up and live up to the hype, because it's real easy to sit back and say, this guy's going to carry this team, or this guy's being drafted here because he's going to be an impact player. It's hard for all those guys to live up, but JD Hegel did not disappoint. He came in and basically helped lead that forward group. Him and Tendy were outstanding for you guys. Yeah,
JD was huge. I mean, we were missing, especially when Claus left, we were missing I had to step up and kind of be a plug on that line with Mark. When the Game 7 line with Mark, I was just kind of there not to make any mistakes. But when we got JD, we didn't have a first line left wing. We didn't have a guy, score goals that first line. Then Tendy coming over kind of filled Claus's role, playing center or playing right wing. Another goal scorer. And then Odie and Mark on the back end. I mean, just guys changing their roles and stepping up.
I got to ask just a quick question, Flap. I don't know if you saw my message or not on Skype. But are you hitting a mic cable or anything by chance? Because your volume's skyrocketing way up, and then it's cutting way out, and then it's going way up.
I can fix that.
It's no big deal. I was just curious.
And I think the only Game 7 that New Jersey played was against Philly, and if I'm not mistaken, I think wasn't Tendy not in that game? He wasn't available because of work or something, if I'm not mistaken. We'll let Clark Flap get that fixed.
Yeah. Let's. I'm going to look at it right now. It was a 2-1 win, so it was a damn close game. And official Mark and Odie were in there with Flap, Novak, and JD Hegel. And,
Tendy didn't make it. So Tendy was supposed to be a Game 7 guy, but he had to work or something that day. And it's huge when you've got a guy who is considered to be your Game 7 right winger who can't make it, and you're playing against a team like Philly, especially in the first round of the playoffs, which is ridiculous. And you don't get to put your full Game 7 lineup out there, and you still go out there and win that game and win the series. You probably could have known at that point that New Jersey was going to be the team to beat. When you're able to substitute a Game 7 guy that's that important in a Game 7 with somebody else, and they step up and you get that huge victory.
Yeah, I mean, Novak stepped up big in that game. Tendy had some other engagement going on. And, I mean, when we got past that round, I mean, Washington was tough, and then Florida not being there. Thank you, Carolina. It was big. I mean, I think Philly, looking back now, Philly was definitely the toughest series looking back, because they matched up pretty well. Their lines, I mean, hats off to Downey, the way he matched up.
Yeah, it definitely looks that way on paper. The one thing I got to ask here, there's a huge, gigantic elephant sitting in the room right now. And, I just, for myself, I mean, is this some kind of a tradition or something? What's with the Conn Smythe?
Nutty was huge. I mean, he was a big team player in the chat, always hyping us up. He won a big game for us in the playoffs. His points and his plus minus don't show the impact he had for us in the playoffs and throughout the short time he was with us, because he wasn't with us all season.
Right.
You can't. You don't have a camera, so I can't see the smile, but I can definitely hear it. It's funny. I saw you guys talking about that in the chat box the other day about how important he was, and everybody was giving you trouble for it.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and leave
yeah. Sorry.
Oh, congratulations to Nutty. He gets the Conn Smythe on the resume. So, you have New Jersey management / team to thank for your ridiculous contract next season or the season after if you're under another year on your contract. But yeah, I mean, I think the way that you guys went through the playoffs, I think beating Philly in that game 7 without Tendy, and then you've got Washington in the second round. You beat them in 5 games. I think that's when you started to realize that New Jersey might be the team to beat here for the Cup, because I thought that the Washington series was going to be even tighter than the Philly series, and you guys were able to just roll through.
Yeah, I thought, to be honest, I mean, going back, I thought Washington is going to be our downfall. I mean, looking on paper, Washington just seemed like a better team, almost. And I mean, third line stole a game. I mean, all the teams in the playoffs had top defensemen. I mean, there's Woy, Schroyer, Skills, Downey, Fooch, lots of top guys, and Washington kind of looks like our team, except better almost. And
well, they had the
third
Rocket
line
Richard
stole,
and
third line stole
Art
a game.
Ross.
I think third line stole a game, and I think they played their lines poorly, and we just played better. So was surprised to win that series in 5, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought it was if I'm not mistaken, I believe I picked you to win that series, but I think I picked it in 7. I don't know. It was just, when you look at it, to see you go through Washington 4-1 in that series, and then you follow up, and Buffalo had been playing extremely well. And like you said, they've got guys like Schroyer and Skills on defense. Jay Cool up front. That series was another one that you thought was probably going to go 7, and you guys, you get it done in 6. You never even had to put a game 7 lineup out there again after the first round, which is huge as far as matchups go, because game 7, it's all the best players are coming out to play, and you guys did a good job of not letting it get that far.
Yeah, game 7s are wild, because even though you have the best players on the ice, it's one game.
But so do they. It's extremely tough, and you never know with EA what kind of bounces are going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, LG is so different compared to, real NHL. It's not like going down 2-0 is a death sentence. It's all about, the matchups you play and how you set it up. And home ice, it's important. It's not like, you have an arena or, an atmosphere to play in, but it's all about how you set things up. And I think, Odie, Tendy, they really played it well. All throughout the playoffs, and I think that was the key to winning, especially just everyone stepping up again.
So how big of a deal was it when you lose Jay Claus? Because it's not just losing the leader of the team and the guy who put it together and everything, but you're losing your number 1 overall center there. And I know you've got Odie there with that, but replacing a number 1 center in this league in season is extremely tough to do. And Odie was able to figure something out with the forwards there, where he mixed and matched lines. He made a couple of moves and was able to bring in Tendy's huge contract and fit it on there. How did that affect you guys when it happened back in the regular season?
I mean, it's easy to look back now and say everything was fine. I mean, then it was kind of chaotic. Claus, I mean, love you, Claus, but you kind of screwed us over. It was kind of.
Your
I mean,
mic's breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's just like getting choppy, like you're losing an internet signal or something.
Those are the downfalls of live radio.
This isn't radio.
Well, live podcast.
Live internet. We're on the EA servers, so I apologize to everybody.
If we were on the EA servers, we'd be talking like this, moving real slow, and we did stuff.
So anyway, continue. How did it affect you guys? You said it's easy to look back now and say that it didn't really affect you, but I mean, of course it did at the time, or at least mentally it had to be like, oh shit, we just lost Claus.
I think he's trying to figure it out here. Maybe leaving and coming back, possibly.
Why don't you answer that, Moran?
I can't.
Oh, he's gone. So he'll probably join back up, I would guess. But I think that's huge. I think it's interesting with all the teams that were left for a team that lost a piece as big as J-Claws from their roster to continue on and win the Stanley Cup is an enormous feat. Not that the guys that were there left after the fact weren't good enough to do it, because obviously they were, but losing a J-Claws is an enormous piece that very few teams have to begin with, but he's a game changer.
Am I good?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, losing Claus was big. He's obviously a top player. It was a big gap down the center of ice, but I mean, Odie was just as hands-on as far as management goes as Claus. I mean, Claus had a huge amount of shaping everything, the roster. I mean, AHL, NHL. I mean, New Jersey, I mean, was good the year before, but there wasn't many pieces returning and picks and everything, and kind of turned. Claus kind of shaped everything for the season coming, and I mean, sucks to lose him, but kind of overcame. It's kind of amazing how just everything, how we overcame everything. Yeah, how everything worked out. I mean, I've looking back now, it is kind of amazing. I mean, I don't know if there's been a team that's lost their owner and still won the cup. I mean, it's just a big gap to fill, especially. It's an owner, because typically your owner is one of your best players because it's a free contract. That's just a big hole.
Right. And you guys had it where your owner and GM were both probably $10 million contracts at zero to start the season, which is, better than anybody could ask for. You get a owner like Claus or Odie, and they're at a huge advantage for themselves because they get themselves on their roster, but they don't have to pay. So you can fit other people in under that cap space. So I thought it was a really great job. You guys were able to get through and win the cup. You beat a Calgary team that was extremely hot and were making all the right moves. They were playing the right matchups. They were getting good wins out of their third line in games that they were not necessarily expecting to win. They were trying to play the matchups, and it worked pretty well. And you guys were able to put a stop to that after going down 0-2 early.
Yeah, I mean, we had the plan with the third line, kind of, I guess, suicided them for lack of better words. I mean, we didn't have home ice, so instead of putting our first and second line, or line A, line B, out there and giving them a bad matchup where they can play into it, we put them out there, and I think, well, in my opinion, I think they matched up pretty poorly, putting out like Terry and Connor, one and only. They put them out twice and just kind of left them in what's the word I'm looking for? They didn't give them much wiggle room for the rest of the series when you put two guys and then they can't play anymore for the rest of the series. And then we knocked off Frost and Jay, giving them like the first losses for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, once we won those 2 games that Tuesday, we knew we could win the series and not let it go 7.
Yeah, and that's how it worked out. I mean, you guys did a really good job. I mean, I think this round of playoffs, altogether, all the matchups were all really good. They all turned out to be very interesting to watch. And the deeper we went, the crazier it got, because there were so many good line combinations possible to match up against each other. It was hard to pick a winner. So, congratulations to you on winning the cup, you and the rest of the New Jersey Devils. Congratulations to Nutty on winning the Conn Smythe. It was huge. And, I guess, Flap, you're more than welcome to come on in the future. It was good to have you on. Finally, we've been talking about it for a season and a half, and we finally got you here. So thanks for jumping on here and talking to us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Sorry for the technical issues.
That's all good, man.
And congrats to Nutty for the Conn Smythe, and congrats to Odie for winning his first Norris. Thanks again.
Yeah, man,
no
congrats
problem.
on the cup, buddy. Good job.
Yep. Have a good night. And that was Flapjack, the very important glue guy of the New Jersey Devils, the stand-in, don't fuck things up in Game 7 guy, as he put it. So congratulations to the New Jersey Devils. I think we're starting to stretch here. We've talked plenty. I think that this season was a very interesting season. We went through about a 4-week phase of losing second tag after second tag for about 4 weeks. That became a big deal. I really, truly think that the way the playoffs worked out, of course, you had matchups like St. Louis, Chicago, New Jersey, Philly in the first round that might have been better suited for at least quarterfinal or semifinal matchups. That doesn't happen. They meet in the first round, but I think altogether the playoffs were a success, as was season 4. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in this season. Obviously, this show isn't going away. But it was a different experience this season with everything that happened. Congratulations to all the award winners. You all deserved it very much. And I do want to give another congratulations out to Kearns again on winning the Vezina, GB on winning the Hart. I think that there were a lot of big, important players in some of these teams, and I think the awards outlined the most important ones for their respective teams.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think they did a great job. There's always going to be some guys who were left out of the awards that, were right there. Were in the conversation without a doubt. I believe there is a nominees thread, so you'll be able to see all of the people who were nominees for those awards.
It's already posted.
Yeah, that's what there is.
Oh, I misunderstood you then.
Okay. So you can see all the nominees, people that were in consideration for those awards. But that's a great job for all those guys, and to the New Jersey Devils, a hell of a job in taking home the hardware this season.
Yeah, for sure. Well, do you have anything else you want to talk about, or you think we're good?
I do not. Season 5, we do want to just plug real quick. We do have the draft show coming up, as we're going to be doing live draft coverage the night of the NHL entry draft. Come back here, same bat time, same bat channel, and join us. We're going to be covering everything draft related and going over the picks and just shooting the BS. So come join us for that as well.
Yeah, like I said, thank you everybody for tuning in. Congratulations to everybody in season 4. It was another great season. I think it's getting better every season. So we will see you next time on LG Hockey Hotline.